Eric and Sarah. Today you're surrounded by your friends and family, all of them gathered to witness your marriage and to share in the joy of this occasion. We come together today not to mark the start of a relationship, but to recognize a bond that already exists. Who brings this woman to this man to be joined in matrimony?
Her father and mother did.
It's one of life's richest surprises when the accidental meeting of two life paths lead them to proceed together along a common path as husband and wife. It is one of life's finest experiences when a casual relationship grows into a permanent bond of love. Love asks the two of you give yourselves completely to each other, to form a couple, but without losing your sense of self and identity. Sarah and Eric, you are calling us here today to witness your commitment to each other. You are committing to give to the other your joy, your sadness, your interest, your understanding, your knowledge, all expressions that make up life. And in this giving, you are committing to preserve yourself, your integrity, your uniqueness, your individuality, that very part of you that has so intimately touched the other. This is the opportunity and the challenge that exists within a marriage. And since you are not alone here tonight, this community of family and friends who have assembled here with you are here to both affirm your choice of each other and after tonight to be your network of support and encouragement. So I ask you together, Eric and Sarah, will you take vows here today before your friends and family to symbolize the commitment you have already made and will continue to make throughout your lives? Weddings are not only a time of looking forward with anticipation, but also looking back and remembering those who helped to mold us and helped us to grow into the individuals that we have become. And so it is that we remember Evelyn and Raymond Blake, Leonard Johnson, John Olson, and Larry Moore. We know that they are with us today in spirit and celebrating this day with us. As they come before us to be married today, Eric and Sarah wish to acknowledge and thank their parents for the love and support that they have given them. These roses, give one to each one, that they are about to present represent feelings of gratitude in their hearts. This moment marks a major change in Eric and Sarah's lives, but the ties of love with their parents will always continue. Our first reading tonight will be by Carol Sarkeesian, Sarah's grandmother.
Good evening, everyone. We got a beautiful day for this wedding. The author of what I'm reading to this evening is unknown. Maybe we are supposed to meet the wrong people before we meet the right one, so when they finally arrive, we are truly grateful for the gift we have been given. Maybe it's true that we don't know what we have lost until we lose it, but it is also true we don't know what we are missing until it arrives. Maybe the happiest of people don't have the best of everything, but make the best of everything that comes their way. Maybe the best kind of love is the kind where you sit on a sofa together, not saying a word, and walk away feeling like it was the best conversation you ever had. Maybe once in a lifetime, you find someone who not only touches your heart, but also your soul. Someone who loves you for who you are and not what you could be. Maybe the art of true love is not about finding the perfect person, but about seeing an imperfect person perfectly.
You've known each other from the first glance of acquaintance to this point of commitment. At some point, you decided to marry. From that moment of yes, to this moment of yes. Indeed, you've been making commitments in an informal way. All of those conversations that were held in a car, or over a meal, or during long walks. All of those conversations that began with when we're married, and continued with I will, and you will, and we will. All of those late night talks that included someday, and somehow, and maybe. And all those promises that are the unspoken matters of the heart, are the common things, and more are the real process of a wedding. The symbolic vows that you're about to make are a way to say to one another, you know, all those things that we promised and we hoped and we dreamed, well, I meant it all, every word. Look at one another and remember this moment in time. Before this moment, you've been many things to one another: acquaintance, friend, companion, dancing partner, even teacher. For you have learned much from one another these past few years. Shortly, you shall say a few words that will take you across a threshold of life, and things between you will never quite be the same again. For after today, you shall say to the world, this is my husband, and this is my wife. So you've decided to have some personally written vows, and we are going to allow the man of the house so far to begin. Wait a minute. I did say so far.
Sarah, the first time I ever saw you, I knew you could be the one. That beautiful long red hair and smile had me in awe. I knew it was fate when I was lucky enough to escort you down the aisle at my best friend's wedding. After spending hours with you on the dance floor, I had one intention, and that was to make you mine. Somehow I did the right thing, because years later, here we are together on this special day. Sarah, you always put a smile on my face and make me feel so loved, and most important, you put me first above everything else. I will marry you today, and be sure that you feel the same wonderful feeling of love that you have given to me. I will continue to keep you the happiest and luckiest girl in the world. I promise to be the most faithful husband you could ever imagine. I cannot wait to start the rest of our lives together. Sarah, I will love you for the rest of my life. Not bad.
If he says so himself.
Eric, we have come a long way from the day we met until now. I've heard it said before that the best relationships are the ones you never saw coming. I must say, I agree. We didn't rush our love. We took it one day at a time. Before we fell in love, we formed a true friendship. It turned into a committed partnership right before our eyes. The more I was around you, the more I craved your attention. One morning I woke up and said, this is the person I want to wake up to every day, and that person is you. Thank God you finally said you loved me so I could say it back. The way you make me feel is unlike any other. So safe, so sound, like no one else is around but me. In a room of crowded people, your eyes always find mine. When you look at me, I know I have your heart. The way you care for me and my happiness is something I truly treasure. Since we never go to bed upset, I know we can handle whatever life throws our way. Your 100 kisses every morning tell me that you'll never stray. You've been telling me for the past few years that one day I will be Mrs. Johnson, and now that day is finally here. I can't wait for our next chapter together as husband and wife. I love you.
And are you exchanging rings today? Ooh, yeah. Come closer. Great. I'm going to trade you. I'm going to give you these things to hold. You take the little one. A ring on the third finger, left hand. It says something in stark terms that she is married, that he or she has a husband. But for the giver and the wearer, the wedding band means so much more. It carries the reminder of their promise to each other to be faithful to their partner for the rest of their lives. So Eric, if you put the ring on Sarah's finger and say these words, I, Eric, give to you, Sarah.
I, Eric, give you,
Sarah.
Sarah,
This ring
this ring
as a symbol of my commitment
as a symbol of my commitment
to love, honor,
honor,
and respect you.
and respect you.
With this ring,
With this ring,
I take you as my wife.
I take you as my wife.
Don't worry about where it goes. There, yeah. I, Sarah, give to you, Eric,
I, Sarah, give to you, Eric,
this ring
this ring
as a symbol of my commitment
as a symbol of my
to
commitment
love,
honor,
and respect
and
you.
respect you.
With this ring,
With this ring,
I take you as my husband.
I take you as my husband.
And now for the very best part of this wedding. May you be a blessing and a comfort to each other, sharers of each other's dreams, consoler to each other's sorrows, helpers in each other in all life's challenges. May you encourage each other in whatever you set out to achieve. May you trust each other, trust life, and be unafraid. May you love each other and offer love and support to those around you. May your marriage bring you all of the exquisite excitement a marriage should bring, and may life grant you also patience, tolerance, and understanding. And now that you have joined yourselves in matrimony, may you strive always to meet this commitment with the same spirit that you now exhibit. And now, by the authority vested in me by the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, I now pronounce you husband and wife. Go. And if I could ask you to please stand. Stand as you are able, and let me introduce Mr. and Mrs. Eric and Sarah Johnson.
It was a cold, wild winter. You were sleeping on my shoulder. I was praying that the raging storm would stay a little longer. With your feet up on the dashboard of my summer dream in Westwood, I was hoping that we'd wake up to the softest of spring mornings, humming do 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 do.
Good evening, everyone. Diane and I would like to take a moment to thank you all for sharing this most wonderful wedding day with us. Today marks a very important milestone in Sarah and Eric's lives, as today they start their new lives together, now as husband and wife. We are so pleased you were able to be here to share on this very special day with us. As a father, I've watched my baby girl, who was born with the most beautiful red hair and fair complexion and unique personality, grow into a beautiful, strong, accomplished woman. I am so very proud of her. Sarah, I love you so much. Eric, I've been able to spend quite a bit of time with you over the years and feel that you know very well what I think of you, and I certainly recognize how much you love Sarah. I know you will treat her with respect and that you will always be in her corner whenever she needs you. I know you'll be a great husband to Sarah and a wonderful son-in-law to me. Welcome to the family, Eric. With that being said, Diane has a few words as well.
For weeks, I have been thinking about what I would say today. It really comes down to a few things that come from my heart. Sarah, it has been an absolute joy to watch you become the wonderful woman that you are today. You are truly an amazing person who approaches life with kindness, confidence, and understanding. I will always treasure our mother-daughter relationship, in particularly the sense of humor that we share and the way that we laugh together. You are really good at telling stories. I am extremely proud of you, Sarah. I am so very fortunate to be your mother. Eric. I knew the moment that Sarah introduced you to me that you are as true a person as any. I know how happy you make Sarah. I can see the contentment in her face when she is with you. You are a kind, caring, and sincere man, and one that only a mother can hope that her daughter chooses to be her husband. I am honored to be your mother-in-law. To both of you, I could not be happier for you today. Words cannot express the emotions that I feel. But I know that my heart is calm, knowing that you have chosen each other and that you will spend the rest of your lives together. Hold on to what you have today. Keep the balance that exists between you. I know that you will do great things together in the future as husband and wife. On a lighter note, I read somewhere that marriage is like a workshop in the sense that the husband works and the wife shops. When I mentioned this to Sarah, she assured me that all of her shopping is to make their house a home. You already have a great start in the home that you have today with Perry, Evie, and Ralph. I think that together you have found the secret sauce to creating a happy home. Lastly, from Sarah's parents and Eric's parents, we are glad that you were able to join us today as we celebrate Mr. and Mrs. Johnson. We hope you have fun.
Hi, everybody. For those that don't know me, my name is Bobby. I've been Eric's brother for his entire life. Lucky me, right? Yeah, I know. For those that do know me, you know that Eric and I aren't exactly the sentimental type, so if you're expecting a emotional, heartfelt speech, you're looking at the wrong person. I'm gonna leave that up to Nicole. When Eric asked me to be his best man, I was honored. However, I knew part of my job as best man was to give a speech at his wedding and say some nice things about him. So for the past few months, I've really been racking my brain, and I've come up empty. Because all I can think about is how ever since Eric came into this world, how big of a pain in the ass he's been. He was loud, obnoxious, just an overall annoyance to me. He still is, yeah. Not only did I have to share a bedroom with him, but I had to share my friends with him too. Eventually, I just moved to Boston to get away. I could go on and on, but I only have 2 minutes, so. You all know him as well, so I can just move on here. All kidding aside, he's turned into a pretty good man, and I'm proud to call him my brother. Plus, he was able to pull in a woman as beautiful and amazing as Sarah, so he must have been doing something right. Sarah, thank you for getting Eric to settle down and making him the happiest I've ever seen him. Not only do you care for 3 cute little kittens, but you find time to keep Eric happy and in line. So thank you for that. You are amazing. He's lucky to have found you. I'm happy to call you my sister now. Thank you all for coming. I'd like to propose a toast at this time to the happy couple. May they have many years of joy, happiness, and health. Cheers.
Good evening. As many of you know, I am Sarah's cousin and maid of honor. Before I get started, I wanted to thank everyone here for helping to make this day so special for Sarah and Eric. I also want to thank my Uncle Patrick and my Auntie Diane for being such loving, caring, and wonderful parents to Sarah. You truly raised a beautiful daughter both inside and out. Sarah and I have known each other for as long as I have been alive, 24 years to be exact. Throughout these years, we have grown to become more than just cousins, but instead sisters. I remember when I was 10 and Sarah was 12, we would fantasize about our futures and the weddings that we would eventually have. During that time, we made 2 different agreements with one another. The first agreement was that we vowed to be each other's maid of honor one day. Here I am today, 14 years later, giving my maid of honor speech, and I am proud to say that our attachment to one another has not changed. Now, you are probably wondering what the second agreement was that Sarah and I made. Well, being both young and naive at the time, we also vowed to eventually get pregnant on the same exact night. Not a few months apart or a few years apart, but literally on the same exact night. Now, don't worry, this has not happened yet. I'm not quite sure it will. Being the lovebirds that Sarah and Eric are, I might be on my own for this one. Sarah first met Eric at our cousin Marianne's wedding. Sarah was a bridesmaid for Marianne, and Eric was a groomsman for Ryan. When pairing up the bridesmaids and groomsmen, there was an odd number. The original plan was for me, Sarah, and Eric to walk down the aisle together. Supposedly, the 3 of us didn't look all that great together, so I got kicked out of the mix and sent to walk down the aisle by myself. 5 years later, still being jealous that I had to walk alone in Marianne's wedding, I realized this was the best decision that could have happened for Sarah and Eric. This is how they fell in love. Well, not exactly, but close to it. Let's just say that Sarah thrived on her favorite game, playing Too Hard to Get. Eric, who was immediately love-struck by Sarah's beauty, worked extremely hard to conquer Sarah's game of playing too hard to get. It may have taken a house full of cats to win Sarah over, but as you can all see today, Eric was quite successful. Now, let's fast forward 3 years later. Sarah and Eric were crazy in love and wanted to move in together. I also wanted to move in with my boyfriend, who's now my fiance, so we figured what would be better than the 4 of us living together. We started to shop for apartments and found a 2-bedroom in Northborough. Now, let me say, Eric had so much trust in Sarah that he never even saw the apartment before we moved in. Now, that's what I call love. Anyways, during this year together, Sarah, Eric, and I grew very close because my boyfriend was often away traveling for work. You could call us the 3 Musketeers as we began to do everything together. One night, we went to a bar, and the bartender told Eric that he was such a lucky guy to have not 1, but 2 beautiful girls. Of course, being the jokers that we are, we played along with it and walked out of the bar with Sarah on one of Eric's arms and me on the other. I really learned a lot about the love between Sarah and Eric from living with them. Some nights I would come home to find the 2 of them snuggling and intertwined on the couch watching Netflix. They would be so close to each other that I couldn't even tell which body was Sarah's and which was Eric's. Other nights, I would come home to Eric attempting to cook a gourmet meal. This was always around 5:00 p.m. because he would get the call that Sarah is on her way home from work. Not once did Eric forget to have the meal prepared for Sarah's arrival. She would walk in and dinner would be served. Then they would eat, and when finished, Eric, being the gentleman that he is, would clean up everything from dinner. Now, most people would just place the dirty dishes into the dishwasher, but Eric, not knowing how to use a dishwasher at the time, hand-washed everything. So let's just say that was quite time-consuming. The point of this story is that Eric loved Sarah so much and would do anything for her. After getting to know Eric and living with him, I knew in my heart that he was the one for Sarah. A house, an engagement, and 3 cats later, here we are today celebrating the marriage of Sarah and Eric. The great Pat Sarkeesian over there, Sarah's grandfather, Papa, once wrote a poem called Words. In this poem, he stated 3 simple words to say, I love you. Men have a hard time with this. However, it means a lot to the person who is receiving those 3 little words. We all know Eric, and although he is a man of few words, these 3 simple words come easy to him when he is speaking of Sarah. Pat Sarkeesian also wrote in his poem, You can't exist without love. That is what life is all about. My experience is that people who love understand the meaning of life. As I wrap up my toast, I can't help but keep these words in my mind. The connection that Sarah and Eric share is powerful and limitless. Their love, commitment, and devotion to one another allows them to experience the true meaning of life. Sarah and Eric, on this special day, I wish you a life of endless happiness, infinite love, eternal joy, and boundless laughter. I love you both very much and look forward to being there throughout the many milestones in both your marriage and in your lives. Thank you.
'Cause I can run, but I